East Village in Manhattan, so I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15, and I took the I was at J Street Metrotech, took the Uptown F train. At Second Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on. Appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the three main threats that he repeated over and over was, "I'm going to kill you. I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die." You know, this was a scary situation, and Mr. Neely came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me, so it was. And there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And you know, I was scared for myself, but I looked around. I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. The man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect. We were all scared. Mr. Neely was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw that situation was under control. I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Neely. I used this hold to restrain him, and I did this by leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body. You can see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force that he's exerting. And I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
I don't know, man. I don't see a violent, angry white supremacist here. You are a hero, my brother. I don't know if I'm a hero, man. I just see things from like a case by case basis. I don't just see skin color. I try to get the facts first, because that's what these two-party political systems go by. They don't give a damn about, who's right, who's wrong. Maybe this is a tragic case of, another person who had mental illness slipped through the cracks, which it was, because he went to Bellevue to get help, to get committed, and they turned him away. So there's a lot of blame to go around here, and I can't say Daniel Penny is salute, Mr. Goodbread. There's the link there if you want to talk. I can't say Daniel Penny is a villain here. I'm sorry. I've always asked this question. If your loved one was on the train with Jordan Neely, okay, and there's a Daniel Penny willing to stand up when Jordan Neely is acting out on drugs, he looked like he was having an episode. Wouldn't you want a Daniel Penny to be there to protect your loved one? maybe if Daniel Penny was just there, maybe the next day, maybe if he was allowed just to ride the train the next day, maybe that woman that was pushed onto the tracks, maybe that wouldn't be her reality, that she's facing critical condition right now, that she's possibly could be crippled for life. We need more Daniel Pennies there. Okay? We need them. I don't know what to say. I'm in New York City, and it suffers a huge mental illness crisis. You have these people taking a dump on the subway seats. Okay? These people acting crazy and irate, and the New York City doesn't do anything about them because they're a huge paycheck. That's what they are. They are walking dollar signs to them. Not for them to get, for these people to get committed, get help, and to get off the streets. Okay? What happens is these mentally ill people, like Jordan Neely, they go through the system, they go to the shelters, they get an apartment. Never mind if they are trained mentally to take care of an apartment. They can clean up after themselves. They can bathe. They can wash their face. They can wash themselves. They know proper etiquette. They know they have to have a work ethic. They know how they have to pay bills. They have to get a therapist. None of that. They just give them an apartment. Okay. If they can't take care of it, they're back on the streets again. Go to the shelter, get an apartment, can't take care of it, back on the streets again. It's a revolving door in New York City. From what I found out. And each client that the shelters take in is $5,000 a month. That's all they care about, really. That's it. So this was bound to happen. Plus the family. Okay. People don't like it when I go after the family and ask questions. Well, this Jordan Neely lost his mother due to watching her being murdered in front of him. And he was showing signs of mental illness at 14. Why didn't you guys get him help then? Well, he's a grown man by an adult. All I hear is excuses. That's all I hear is excuses. All right. And black people cannot, you have to look at the facts. I'm black. This is not a white man talking behind this mic. This is a black man. Okay. And they hate it when I start speaking with comments. I don't know what it is. Like with some of the black community, it's like kryptonite. It's like a cross hitting a vampire. You talk common sense. Common sense is like a cross to some black people. Common sense, no. It's what it is. It's like light hitting a vampire. All right. I'm going to talk about another unpopular subject. I'm going to talk about Rayshard Brooks. Rayshard Brooks was driving under the influence of alcohol. He decides to, you got out of jail. You decide to have this genius idea to drink alcohol while driving. Well, his mother died. I don't care. So everybody else's life is at risk on the road. They complicate. Yeah, they do. Yeah. They complicate the crap out of common sense. I'll give you an example. I was in the group, Kevin Samuels died. I posted in the group that men and women have to take responsibility for who they choose to be the mother or father of their kid. Right? Let's see. All right. See if it went through. Okay. Yeah. So I put the link. I put a post up. Right. If who you choose to lay down with is who you are choosing to be the mother or father of your children. Now, most of the black men and the black women in that group flipped out. They flipped out. It's common sense. Condoms are 99% effective. They're not 100%, 99%. Know what happened? They flipped out. Next thing you know, the next day, I was out the group. Common sense is kryptonite to some black people. All right. And they don't like that. Now, continuing with the story with Rayshard Brooks, okay? He was told to come out the car because Wendy's had a complaint because he parked the car in the middle of the drive-through traffic at Wendy's. And the cops came by. They told him to come out the car, took a breathalyzer test. Alcohol limit alcohol level was way beyond the legal limit. He was going to go back to jail. He decides to have the great idea to fight the police. It's your fault that you decide to drive under the influence. So you decide to fight the police. You grab a cop's taser, one of the cops' taser, two of them. You're running. You point the taser at them. And the cop you didn't manage to tackle, he shoots you dead. Okay. Clear and cut case of it's your fault. Okay. You messed around and you found out. All of a sudden, black people are parading, saying that Rayshard Brooks was a victim. Victim of what? What was he a victim of? Poor choices? You're a Republican. No, I'm not a Republican. This is just common sense. Another example, Corinne Gaines. She decides to have a kid with a drug dealer. Okay. And decides to, a drug dealer that has a warrant for his arrest. The cops break through the door. Instead of getting out of the way for the cops to arrest her boyfriend, who's a drug dealer, she decides to pick up her infant son and a shotgun at the same time and aimed it at one of the cops. How do you think that turned out? She ended up dying. And her kid was injured in the process. Now, to say what I'm saying, you're a coon. What's up, Mr. Goodbread?
Hey, what's going on, Hard Talk? How you been, bro?
Pretty good.
Man, a great story. This is a good story, man. If you don't mind, later on, I'll react to this on my channel. I'm at 54K
no problem,
right
man.
now.
Oh, you don't have
Definitely
to ask
plug
me,
the
man. You don't have to
channel.
ask me. Just go right ahead and do it, man. You don't have to ask me. It's fair use.
No doubt. Good, because I definitely like the way you bring it, and the way you talk is direct and straightforward. And we're both black men. You know what I mean? There's a divide right now in our community, and it's sad because they're creating a culture right now in our community, man. They are really protecting criminals, and
right.
This story is just another story in so many stories. Do you remember the story about the guy in Queens who was going to get robbed, was about to get robbed, and he pulled the gun out and he told the robber, like, leave him alone, and the robber still attempted to rob him. He shot the robber, killed the robber, and he's facing charges.
I forgot the name of that.
He was the 62-year-old man. He's going to jail for protecting himself.
Wow. I remember one that's pretty old. It's an old story. I think his name was Getz, Bernard Getz. I'm not sure, but it was a guy. He was attacked by a bunch of teens, and I think they still gave him. I think he still went to jail. I don't know. It was a bunch of teens that jumped him, but you were saying.
And that was Kew Gardens, Queens. Matter of fact, that was it. In Kew Gardens, Queens. You can look it up. The guy is under arrest now. He's facing more charges because somehow it went to where they did a search warrant, and then they kicked in his house and found out he had other guns. Mind you, he had license for the guns, but just not the
Mhm.
license for the gun that he used.
Oh man.
So we definitely are creating a society where everybody is going unprotected, and you can't even pay somebody to protect you in case of, you know what I mean, an emergency, because nobody wants to be a hero and then end up going to jail.
Yeah. I mean, even in
This is a
California
mess,
right
man.
now, I'm not sure what state it is, but they made it okay for black people to rob stores now. And that just feeds white supremacy. So I can't believe, and you have black people that are okay with doing that. And I'm just, okay, so don't get mad when they call you the N-word. Don't get mad when they want to blow your head off, because this is just going to feed the white supremacist narrative of black people. They already have it in mainstream media. You already have it in the music. You already have it in TV shows. There already is. I just found out that there's a prison pipeline between gangster music and private prisons.
Oh yeah, we oh man, yeah, I've been to that. That was Busy Bone, Lazy Bone, and one of them blew
Yeah,
that up.
yeah.
But yeah, in a meeting they had. But definitely, definitely, and it's crazy because this is gonna soon affect people's front door. You see, then that's the problem with our community, because we like to sit there and ha ha and he at the problem, but ignore it. We don't address it, so we ignore it like if it's gonna solve itself or it's gonna fix itself, and then it ultimately gets worse. You know, like the state of the black community right now could have been fixed if we stop avoiding the problem and we address the problem. We address the single mother issue. If we mandate fathers to have equal parenting time, you know what I mean? We
Hmm.
start putting pressure on fathers, like, you know what I mean? Because it takes two to have a baby. So instead of worrying
Right.
about fathers' payments, find a way to force that custody, have custody on on the father. Men make something mandatory to where the father has to have his child.
Right. Because you need both parents to have that child. Because you can't be two parents in one. A man can't be a mother and a father, and a woman can't be a mother and a father either. It's just you're gonna end up screwing up your kid. And you're gonna end up diminishing your roles. It has an effect on the woman's mind.
That's a fact. That is a
And
fact.
they don't want to hear this. And like I said before, you'll find yourself getting kicked out of groups, being cursed at, being reported, because you're just saying a truth that is natural. And a lot of guys don't want to see it. That's why I had to leave the red pill manosphere, because there really wasn't. It was just all on the female.
Yeah, the red pill manosphere is a money grab right now. You know what it is. We understand that the gender war is
Right.
basically a war between hell of a sons and the hell of a daughters. It's energies raised by one energy, a feminine energy. We know that 80% of our males, unfortunately, are beta males. And we know that 80% of our females are modern women, and that's due to the single parent household, the lack of fathers, the lack of masculinity in the hoods.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what the gender war is. So if you get caught up in that, you're gonna lose your mind, especially if you're a critical thinking brother like ourselves. You know what I mean? We don't have to have the same beliefs, but we understand it's two types of brothers. We have NGAs and we have brothers. And unfortunately, our NGAs, they think everybody is an NGA. Every black man is an NGA, and that's unfortunate. So in them groups, like I was saying, in them groups, you're not gonna find much healed people. People in them groups is all bitter. All of
Yeah, I was in
everybody.
that. I was in that. Sorry to cut you off. I was in that group. Kevin Samuels died, and those women are so bitter, so angry,
Yeah.
and and you have a lot of people that are of the rainbow in there too. So I think Kevin Samuels was a fraud, right? And I did think that he didn't do much to show a good image of black man, because to me he was still feeding white supremacy. He was still feeding that fake color purple narrative, because he was saying you could be high value and you could still cheat on your wife. Now, I'm not trying to get off the topic here, but what I'm trying to show is the fact that this image of white supremacy viewing of black people is further engineered by not being willing to just hold people accountable. is not willing to say, well,
But think about it. What do white supremacy stem off of? It stem off of the educated people taking advantage of the weak, right?
mhm.
And what was Cam Samuel's theory? What was his brand based off of? He catered to the weak. This is why I never was afraid to tell it from the jump when I noticed it, and I agree. I mean, I like Kevin. I like what he did. I respect him as a, you know, what I mean, as a colleague, because this is a business. This content creating, what we do is a business. So other than that, though, I think he was Derek Jacks. What Derek Jacks was for the females, for the fat, obese women. Kevin Samuels was for these brothers that gave up and wasn't fitting to do the work. It's sheer entertainment in the red pill manosphere. Ain't no growth no more. And you knew that once it went from self-improvement, emotional intelligence, setting goals. Now it's reaction, because that's what's selling. You know what I mean? Guys don't want to do the work no more. Guys then got on their purpose. They didn't listen to the originals, the AMSs, the BOAs, and they tried that, and maybe they didn't work. It didn't work because you know why it didn't work. I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna take it there. You know what I mean? We'll have so many people running from the goddamn live stream, but until you put God to anything you do, ain't nothing gonna work. So you could watch the red pill, you could do all that crazy crap if you want, you know what I mean? But until you really truly believe in, you're not gonna get a blessing. But a lot of men, they just gave up. So they don't even want to try no longer. So now they're frustrated because they thought Kevin Samuels had a magical pill that was gonna have women just fall out the sky and fall into their lap. And that's not the case. Kevin
And that's the
Samuels
same thing with the
catered.
black community. They think that, you know, they want peace in the black community, but you don't want to do the work. You can't have a traditional family, but you have, you know, you want to be a bad bee. You can't have,
Right.
you want to have this you know, godly black man or a strong black man, but you're not willing to distance yourself and cut off the men that are toxic, or these politicians, with on the Republican and the Democrat side that really aren't for your benefit.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
our sisters need major healing. Our sisters need major healing because they're paint a positive dude. See, they don't even know what they want because they'll get a good man and paint him as a negative dude. You can't have it both ways now. They don't like the guys that lie and cheat to them, but then they also don't like the guys that check them. They want to
right. Well,
cancel
all
the
right.
guys that check them.
Let me just get through this article and we can continue more. Ex-Marine Daniel Penny, who is charged with killing homeless man Jordan Neely on the subway last month, said he wasn't trying to choke him to death when he jumped into the action after Neely was threatening passengers. Penny, 24, is charged with manslaughter after he was caught on video restraining Neely, 30, in a fatal chokehold on an F train. Neely died from compression of the neck, according to the medical examiner's office. In a series of videos released by Penny's lawyers on Sunday, the 24-year-old East Village resident denied that he held Neely by his throat for 15 minutes, as previously reported, and said he had no intention of taking his life. In what he called a scary situation, the man stumbled on and he appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed and he ripped his jacket off and threw it down at the people sitting next to me at my left. Penny, who lives in the East Village, recounted. Okay. I was listening to the music at the time and I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. He continued. The three main threats that he repeated over and over again were, "I'm going to kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die." Penny, who's 6'2", noted that he was intimidated by Neely, who was bigger than him, as he yelled and terrified passengers' faces. He said he couldn't sit still and potentially watch Neely carry out his threats. There's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We actually are taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. He said, "I was scared for myself, but I looked around. There was women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't sit still." Video of the fatal encounter, which went viral, shows Penny holding Neely in a chokehold on the floor of the subway car until he stopped moving. Some people said that I was holding on to Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. Between stops, it was only a couple of minutes, so the whole interaction lasted 5 minutes. Penny clarified. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video There's clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from being able to carry out his threats. Penny said the grip he used to hold Neely was based on the force that he was exerting. Neely never regained consciousness and was pronounced later dead. Penny told the Post last month in an exclusive interview that the altercation with Neely, who was black, had nothing to do with his race. I'm not a white supremacist. In Sunday's video, he emphasized that the notion that the incident was fueled by in a Sunday's video, he emphasized that the notion the incident was fueled by race is ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color, Penny said. At least 2 strap hangers are seen in the video of the incident helping. Penny restrained Neely. Man who helped restrain Neely was a person of color. He pointed out a few days after the incident, I read this paper and a woman of color came out to me and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of the people I was trying to protect who were all scared. Penny was initially taken into custody and released. Further investigation by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office yielded an incident. I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take me out of the and take over the situation. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't sit still and let him carry out these threats. Neely, a street performer, often impersonating Michael Jackson, had a history of mental illness, but slipped out through the cracks of the Big Apple's mental health system. Neely's family blamed authorities for not ensuring he received the needed care for him to recover and called on Penny to face murder charges. The incident sparked protests, which led to numerous arrests. Penny is due back in court on July 17th. All right, man. Yeah, so you were saying?
Man, we got to find a better way to call for help, to reach out for help. That going to the public transportation and acting like a stupid idiot is not a way you want to reach out for help, guys. Remember, I told you guys, it's 3 ways you reach out, man. You reach up, out, and within. You know what I mean? Within first, then reach out, and then reach up, bro. You know what I mean? Or in any way, in any order you choose. You choose the order. Me personally, I would reach up first, then within, and then I'll reach out to people. But you guys gotta heal, man. We got to heal. And this is an entitlement. This that entitlement shit right here.
Yeah, that's what it is. And when you tell people this stuff and they act like they act unreasonable, because some person, all right, a black one was telling me, well, I work with mental health and he didn't have to do that. So you're telling me that if you work in mental health and some dude who is over 6'2" is threatening you, you're telling me you don't want a Daniel Penny to help you out, who's your coworker?
That's a fact.
Oh, well,
bro.
I there's ways to do it. No. Okay. See, this is
Listen,
why.
What if they daughter
There's some people
son,
who have no experience when it comes to like what it's like to be in a fight, what it's like. Us men, we know what that is. And they don't understand that, and it's not realistic. All right, you were saying?
No, you're right. You're absolutely correct. Like, these guys don't understand. If they had a daughter, if they had a mother on the train that day, and it affect them, and when it comes to their front door, that's when people want to be attackish. But any other time, they want to play sympathetic. They want to play sorry. Oh, I feel so sorry. People have to get out of their feelings and have to gain back their emotions. They have to manage their emotions. You know what I mean? They have to. But I'm not going to hold you any longer, hard talk. I'm gonna definitely touch on this later on today at the Brutally Honest. I want to help your channel, so I'm not even gonna clip this video because that's not gonna help you. If you're free, I would love to have you there. Me and you, and that's it. And we'll talk about this and chop this thing back on up. I gotta go now, but I definitely will have you at my new channel, because right now I have 2 channels, and for some weird reason they are on my neck at the Brutally Honest channel. I got 54K in like 4 months, and we moving over there. So I definitely want give you some momentum, because you talk about the real, you talk about the conversations that need to be had in the community. We're not gonna get better if we avoid these conversations, man. We not gonna get better, man. No matter how you cut it, we got to have these conversations. So with that
Unfortunately,
said, man,
these conversations don't really have any money in it, and that's why these conversations aren't really had. And unless you an Alvin Bragg, who is completely, he disgusts me. Yeah, I don't know if you know about that that store clerk who had to defend himself against some crazy baby mama's boyfriend because
yeah,
her car declined, and she sent her simp boyfriend after the store clerk who had to defend himself. He was an old man, and Alvin Bragg was going to send him to prison. Okay,
that's a fact. That was the Brooklyn store, the store stabbing. I remember.
Yeah, he was also going to send a woman to prison because she had to defend herself against her ex-husband, who's going to kill her, and she killed him in self-defense. He was a drunk, and he was going to send her to jail unless people petitioned for her release. And this is the city we're in, man. I mean, we live in a city where you can't defend yourself. You're always looked upon as a victim. Okay, and this is how the narrative is, and it's sad that it's like a plantation. It really is a plantation, and you have these puppets on either side. You either got a Candace Owens, or you got an Alvin Bragg, or you got a what is her name? Lori Lightfoot. It's a sad position that we're in.
It's true, man. It's true. But I'm out of here, man. I'll see you later, man.
All right, see you later. Thanks for coming on.
No doubt, bro.
All right. So, anything you want to know about this channel, it's in the description box. You feel like, cash apping or going on my other or checking me out on other platforms, you're willing to do that. Links in the description box. Later.